यमुनातीरवनचारी यमुनातीरवनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवसदि गौर भक्तवृंदा जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवसदि गौर भक्तवृंदा कृष्ण चैतन्य हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada. श्री श्री जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा महारानी की, श्री श्री प्रहलाद नरसिंहदेव भगवान की, श्री निताई गौर सुंदर की, पतित पावन प्रभुपाद की, समस्त गौर भक्तबिंद की। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयम् उदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवति उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी। Starting from Gantra Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, entitled as Prithu Maharaja's Meeting with the Four Kumaras, chapter number 22nd, entitled as Maharaj Prithu's Meeting with Four Kumaras, text number 53. Gantra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Patit Panch Prabhupada ki jai. Evam Adhyatma Yogena कर्माणि अनुसमाचरन् पुत्रान् उत्पादयामास पञ्चार्चिषि आत्मसमतान् पञ्चार्चिष्य आत्मसमतान्। एवं आध्यात्म योगेन कर्माणि अनुसमाचरन् पुत्रान् उत्पादयानास पञ्चाचर्चिषि आत्मसमतान्। एवं आध्यात्म योगेन कर्माणि अनुसमाचरन् पुत्रान् उत्पादयामास पञ्चार्चिषि आत्मसम्मतान्। Thus, Adhyatma Yogena, by the means of Bhakti Yoga, Karmani, activities, Anu, always, Samacharan, executing, Putran, sons, Utpadayam, Asa, begotten, Pancha, five, Archisi, in his wife, Archi, Atma, own, Samatan, according to his desire. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. Being situated in a liberated position of devotional service, Prithu Maharaj not only performed all fruitive activities but also begot five sons by his wife Archi. Indeed, all his sons were begotten according to his own desire. Translation once again. Being situated in the liberated position of devotional service, Prithu Maharaj not only performed all fruitive activities but also begot five sons by his wife Archi. Indeed, all his sons were begotten according to his own desire. Purport. As a householder, Prithu Maharaj had five sons by his wife Archi, and all these sons were begotten as he desired them. They were not born whimsically or by accident. How one can beget children according to one's own desire is practically unknown in this present age, Kali Yuga. In this regard, the secret of success depends on the parents' acceptance of the various purificatory method known as samskaras. The first samskara, the Garbhadhan samskara or child begetting samskara, is compulsory, especially for the higher caste, the Brahmanas and the Kshatriyas. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, sex life, which is not against religious principles, is Krishna himself. And according to the religious principles, when one wants to beget a child, he must perform the Garbhadhan samskaras before having sex. The mental stage of the father and mother before sex will certainly affect the mentality of the child to be begotten. A child who is begotten out of lust may not turn out as a parent's desire. As stated in Shastras, Yatha Yonir Yatha Bijam. Yatha Yoni indicates the mother and Yatha Bijam indicates the father. If the mental state of the parent is prepared before they have sex, the child which they will beget will certainly reflect their mental condition. It is therefore understood by the words Atma Samatan that both Prithu Maharaj and Archi underwent the Garbhadhan purificatory process before begetting children, and thus they begot all their sons according to their desire and purified mental status. Purified mental states. Prithu Maharaj did not beget his child out of lust, nor was he attracted to his wife for sense gratificatory purpose. He begot the children as Grahastha for the future administration of his government all over the world. Om Tat Sat. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langhayate girim yadkripatamaham bande Sri Gurdinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Sri Chaitanyam Iswaram. So, seeing here about Prithu Maharaj. Who is Prithu Maharaj? Yeah, Lord Saktyaves Avatara. Yeah, and this Prithvi is named after Prithu Maharaj because of the past tense between Prithvi and Prithu Maharaj. The Prithvi thereafter was called Prithvi, named after Prithu Maharaj. We know that how Prithvi was hiding all the grains because Prithu Maharaj's father Vena was very atrocious king. And then later when he was finished and Prithu Maharaj took over, still she was hiding the grains. Although Prithu Maharaj has performed all the sacrifices and he was doing what as a dharmic Kshatriya king has to do, but still the earth was holding the seeds and then all the prajas were dying out of hunger. Then Pithu Maharaj actually chased the cow, chased the earth, which took the shape of a cow. And there was a, a dialogue, and then later uh, Prithvi submitted herself, and then there was whole. We know how that mother cow was milked, and various ingredients, various things were supplied. So because of this pastime, Prithvi was called thereafter Prithvi. So it's a great personality, Pithu Maharaj. Mentioned that as a householder, he performed his duties very well. Said, uh, being situated in a liberated position of devotional service, Pithu Maharaj not only performed all fruitive activities, but also begot 5 sons of his wife Archi. So, uh, we know there is a saying, uh, Putra Arthe Kriyate Bharya. There's a One should get married, one should accept wife to get sons. Why it is important to have sons? Of course, this science is not taught and not understood, but as we all understand that we are not body, we are all soul, Atma. Dehino asmin yatha dehe kaumaram yauvanam jara tatha dehantar prapti dhirastatra namuhyati. We see in this life itself we change our body. Some 20 years or 30, 40 years before we had a child's body, then we got a youth body, now we're getting old man's body. So these all bodies are changing, but something is not changing. Who is not changing? We are not changing. Hmm? Who is that we? When a person dies, people say is gone. Now, who has gone? The body is here, the person has left. So it says that the body is changing in this life itself. Our real identity is we are soul, we are not the body. You know that there are so many ways we can perceive the presence, our presence, a spiritual presence, completely different dimensional than our material existence as a body. We are not body, we are soul. There are so many cases, thousands and thousands cases of reincarnation. Then we see that people are, born different. There are so many born in the same mother, same time, but we see there are people different, uh, living differently. We see so many people, but nobody's situation is same. Even their faces also different. So some there is difference. How can we understand unless we can accept the principle of karma? And in order to understand principle of karma, we have to accept that we are not body, we are soul. There's so many ways we can analyze and understand. So, uh, in fact, in India, being born in India in a pious land, it's people easily are able to perceive that they are not body, they are soul. Don't have to much explain. So, uh, so why one get a son? Because uh, actually there are some purificatory processes are mentioned, or some responsibility of son after death of one's parents. It was called putra. So one who performs Sraddha ceremony or the final rites in order to deliver their forefathers from the uh, hell, a place called hell named Puta, to save them from that. So therefore it's called Putra. So uh, there's so many incidents. We know that how by uh, by the descendants, the forefathers actually were liberated. The classical example of 60,000 sons of Sagar Maharaj. They were all burnt to ashes by Kapila Deva because some offense they did. And then we see that generation after generation, and in the dynasty of Lord Ramachandra, great kings, they just went on austerities and purified all 60,000 sons of Saga Maharaj and liberated them. And we know that how That's how from Bhagirathi, uh, Ganges came down from the heavenly planets. Ganges came down and then went into Patala Loka, and there uh, Sagar Maharaja's 60,000 sons' bodies was lying. There, they were burnt actually. Ashes was lying, and when it was touched by Mother Ganges, they all got liberated. So exactly, due to even Bhagavad Gita, we see Arjuna and Krishna's dialogue. Is Arjuna is arguing, you are asking me to fight this war, and there's so many great personalities going to die, and there will be nobody to protect the women. And then in this way, we say that they will be all Vanashankara will be born, and because they will not understand this science, they will stop giving the Shraddha, and in this way all the forefathers will fall into hell. So I should not become the cause of that. One of the reason Arjuna gave, this was one of the solid reason he gave, that he should not fight this war. Of course, later he was convinced for the higher principles that this is his spiritual duty. So to have a son is very important. Prabhupada is writing in the book On the Way to Krishna, this topic on how to be happy. They say that everybody wants to be happy. Uh, Nobody wants to be sad. Everybody wants to be happy. And see, this people are searching out the happiness from the matter. From the matter they are trying to. Ye sansparsaja bhoga dukkha yona evate. Krishna is telling in Bhagavad Gita that just from this touch sensation, people want to derive the happiness. But then whatever happiness, sensory pleasure they derive, that's a dukkha yona. This is the source of misery. You see that this so-called modern or advanced civilization, they have this sense gratification, and their education system is like this. Either child is killed by his or her own mother in the womb. So many cases of abortions, so many, countless cases. Just help child is aborted. Either the child is killed by his own mother inside the womb. If he is at all fortunate and he takes birth, then he will be taught to have the sense gratification, like a cat, like cats and dogs. There is no education to make them understand the importance of human life, to advance spiritually. There is no education is given at all, and then we all expecting that we'll become happy. So this is a dilemma, that how we can be happy. Here we see that it's mentioned that how Pitu Maharaj, he begot the children. It was not he begot the children for sense gratification. Pitu Maharaj is a responsible person, responsible king. So his purpose was to give. It's mentioned, Prabhupada, he begot the child as a grahastha for the future administration of his government all over the world. So to give a perfect successor to his kingdom, to rule over, to further protect the citizens from the cycle of birth and death, to facilitate them to advance in spiritual life. That's the king's actually main duty. So in order to have a good successor, he begot the child. So what was the purpose? This is the purpose, to have a good child, so that he can carry out his responsibility further. we understand, we know that how Bhakti Vinod Thakur, Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur prayed. He prayed for a son who will carry out his mission. He had, I think, 10 sons. And he was he begot Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and who powerfully spread message of Lord Krishna all over India, and also he sent his disciples to West. And one of his disciples is Srila Prabhupada. And Srila Prabhupada traveled all over the world and established Krishna consciousness. So there is a quote of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur where he is telling, if I am able to get Krishna conscious child, I am ready to have sex 100 times. So that is actually responsibility, not just like a cat and dog, uh, just populating the world. It's actually overpopulation is burdening the earth by getting all sinful personalities. So here Pitu Maharaj did not begot the child like that. He said that he begot the child in right consciousness. His purpose was to get a child who is Krishna conscious, who is devotee of the Lord. Because he will be devotee of the Lord, he will be able to carry out my responsibilities properly. We will discuss more on this. So the Garbhadhan Samskara, this is one of the purificatory process before begetting the child. So in any cultured or Vedic society, there are different kinds of samskaras. The samskaras are actually done in order to it's called purificatory ceremony, samskaras. Like we know there are thus 10 types of different samskaras, starting with Garbhadhan samskaras. Then we know that Jata samskaras is there when child is born. Then the child is given a first grain, Anna Prasanna. Then child is starts writing the Vidya Arambham. Then the child is there's so many samskaras, is getting married. Then Vivaha samskaras. So like that. Then finally when person dies, Antyeshti samskara. So there are so many 10 samskaras is described. So starting with Garbhadhan samskaras. Actually our existence is not just this body. This body is only a gross presence. As we have discussed that, who are we? We are soul. As all of us, we realize this. We understand that we are not the body, we are soul. Our existence is very subtle. And there are subtle forces or impressions on all of us. Sometimes we see that people say his person is completely brainwashed. How his brain is washed? Just by somebody has gave him some idea and it clicked to him, and he started going on that. It's completely brainwashed. So there are subtle forces, subtle impressions which actually have an impact on us. So by this samskaras, these subtle impressions are actually created, so that it is good for spiritual and physical well-being. So in this Garbhadhana samskara, it is mother and father, both the parents, they prepare mentally before begetting the child. Why this preparation is required? Because the state of consciousness, both parents and mother and father are there. Actually that kind of consciousness attract that kind of soul to come inside the womb. We say yam yam, Krishna is telling in the Bhagavad Gita, yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tyasti ante kalevaram tam tam evaiti kaunteya sada tad bhava. So in whatever state of consciousness a person quits his body, he gets that kind of state. So we know how Bharata Maharaj was thinking about the deer before he was dying, and he was born as a deer. So in whatever state of consciousness we are there, in that, like that, we are facilitated. So if both the parents are in good consciousness, they will attract a soul who will be desiring or will be looking forward for such place to come. It's like we going somewhere and we want to stay in some place. We want to see this place how clean it is. We want to make sure that is a proper place, just for staying for some time. Is it or not? We want to make sure, and then we also verify, see the net, or we see the how much ranking stars are given. And if we are sure that is a good place, then we go and book. For simple, for stay for overnight, we do so much. And what about when we are going to stay for next 100 years? The soul actually, so according to one's state, actually one goes to the destination. Krishna gives this analogy. It's like wind carrying the aroma. There is a Jagannath garden is there. If there is a wind blowing from there to here, immediately we will start getting a very good smell of flowers. We cannot see the wind, and we cannot see all how the aroma is coming, but it is passing from here to there to here, and we are experiencing it. Is it or not? So these are subtle forces are involved. Similarly, consciousness carrying the soul from one body to next body. So with whatever consciousness we are there, we will get next body like that. In Bhagavad Gita, if you open, there's a color pages. In that it said that one person is so fond of sleeping that next life he is born as a bear in North Pole, and he can sleep for 6 months. Nobody will tell anything. If a person is so much fond of eating meat, he is born as a tiger. Can eat very peacefully. He can eat without any problem. Digestion problem, he can eat meat. If somebody is very much taking pleasure to expose one's body, not dressing oneself properly, then that in state of consciousness is there, and he will be born as tree. So throughout life, we stay naked. No problem. So according to our consciousness, we get the destination. So those both side is there. A soul is in a particular consciousness, and their parents, they are in a particular consciousness, and by this divine arrangement, both is matched, and then soul is is fixed. Is going to be born there. So if we want to beget a good child, then one has to prepare for that. If we if we beget the child like cat and dog, actually cat and dog only will be born. The body will be only like a human being, but consciousness will be like that, always fighting. First, more and more sense gratification. No peace, no peace. So it is not actually question of overpopulation. It's actually question of getting good population. Getting good population, Krishna conscious population. That is actually the purpose of human life. The human life is provided athato brahma jigyasa. We got this human form of life, we should inquire now. What is the inquiry? Inquiry is none of us we want to suffer, but why we are suffering? Why we are taking birth, again dying, becoming old, getting diseased? Why we are all suffering? Though none of us want this. Who am I? Who has created this world? So these are all million-dollar questions. It comes to people's mind. So this human form of life is to actually resolve these things. Therefore, this human form of life is given. So it's not question of overpopulation, getting a good population, Krishna conscious population. And it's duty of both mother and father, before begetting child, should be in good consciousness, so that when child is born, he will have that kind of impression will be there on him. Suppose a mother and father are very lusty before they beget the child. Then the child is born, he'll have this impression upon him. He'll also have that. If they are very angry, like that, all that actually gets imprinted on the child. So therefore this Garbhadan samskara is performed, and before the Jat samskara is performed, in this we say this Annaprasanna is also like that. When they are getting food, first grain, so if they eat some just like normal food, it will have another impact. But when they eat food which is purified, and especially when it is offered to the Lord, then they get that seed of bhakti. And first time when we get involved into some things, that impression which is created actually is very, very subtle and very deep. So it's the first time going to give grain, give Jagannath Prasad. First time going to write Lord's name, so that impression will be there, that Sukirti will be there. First impression. So similarly, this Garbhadan Samskara is mentioned here. So it's actually great responsibility. And that's how the whole Vedic population was built. So here we see that Pitu Maharaj, as an ideal king, he's mentioned that he got not one or two, he got 5 children, and they were all great personalities. And he was so self-realized and self-controlled that he was able to begot all this child according to one's own desire, how he wanted to be their child should be. They were all like that. So it's actually, this is whole preparation. The whole Vedic civilization is very responsible civilization. It's not only before one begets the child, one has to perform the austerity. Actually, it is mentioned how Kardama Muni and Devahuti, Sri Jagannath Baldev Subhadra Maharani ki, Sri Prahlad Nrsimha Dev Bhagavan ki, Sri Nitai Gaur Sundar ki jai, Patit Panchla Prabhupada ki jai. In that past times we know that Kardama Muni wants to get a son. Then he goes to perform the austerity. And he performs the austerity for 10,000 years to get a proper wife. From there, he will be able to get a good son. He performed the austerities for 10,000 years. And when this austerity, as a result of austerity, Lord himself came and he gave him assurance that I will come myself, your son. And we see how Drona and Dhara, they performed the austerity, and the Lord was pleased. And he said, they say, we want son like you. Then he said, nobody is like me. I will myself come. So they asked for 3 times, the Lord came 3 times as their child. Prishni Garbha, and then Lord came as Krishna. So 3 times, and then Aditi Kashyapa, the Lord came Vamandev. So he himself came. So it is actually tapo divyam putraka yena sattvam. So by performing austerities, when taking some strong vow for spiritual advancement, our existence is purified. What is meaning of purified existence? Purified existence means we will feel more and more enthusiastic to serve the Lord. That will naturally, it will come. We want to do, we want to serve the Lord. We want to do something good. When our existence is sinful, then we will be actually not hesitating or not even thinking twice before doing any sinful activities. And we will not get the enthusiasm, necessary enthusiasm or interest to perform something good, some good spiritual activities. We will always keep postponing that. So it was by performing austerity, our existence is purified. So it's mentioned that how Prithu Maharaj begot the child. Prabhupada is telling the Garbhadan samskaras, and then one should take a necessary, do necessary preparation to have some austerities before getting inside married life. So this whole we know varnashrama system it was institution was made like that. The child is from very beginning he was taught to practice celibacy. Now 5 years old sent to Gurukul Vestage under the guidance of a spiritual master, and he is practicing Krishna conscious life. And then after this so much of years of preparation, if one wants to get married, he goes and then he get married. Grahastha life. Grahastha life, he is already prepared himself. He understands the value of this his spiritual spiritual existence. So he doesn't go and get stuck there. Griham andakupam. It says describe that Griham andakupam, the dark well of sense gratification. So when person cries out, also nobody can hear it. So he doesn't get stuck there. So he does his grahastha ashram duty, and then he is easily able to get detached from it and come out of it. And this, he further continues his spiritual responsibility, takes vanaprastha ashram, and then from there to sannyas ashram, and in this way that he is progressing in his spiritual life, going back to Godhead. So that is the varnashram system, Vedic civilization, where everybody was facilitated to meet the real goal of life, going back to Godhead, developing love for Krishna. From very beginning, it was everyone was provided the opportunity. Therefore, the Vedic civilization was great. If any question or comments, we can discuss. 5 minutes is there. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, पतित पांच प्रभुपाद की जय.